You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Feeling amazing. It's a dream come true, to be honest. I wouldn't want to share it with anybody else.
You mentioned sharing it with anybody else. We've got the flag five here. How much have these people meant in getting you here?
I mean, I wouldn't be here without these people right here and all my people back home in Maine. 5 people up in the box up there. They're here for me, and I wouldn't be here without them. So it just means so much to see everybody here and supporting me.
Mom, Kelly, Dad, Ralph are here. But when you put the ball in your son's hand, what did you hope to instill to him?
And we'll have the answer to that question coming up in just a minute. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. It's Thursday, which means we're closer to Friday, which means we're closer to the weekend. How's everybody doing this morning? Lots going on. We're going to recap the NBA draft. The kid from Maine, that college basketball powerhouse state, #1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg. We're going to break it all down. So much going on in the world of sports. Not really. There is a huge story in the NFL, which I wanted to touch on yesterday. I didn't get to it. My voice is kind of going because I was at the concert last night. Review coming up from Hart last night. An arbitrator in the NFL, apparently Pablo Torre got hold of a document, 61-page document that has really caught the NFL red-handed here about colluding with all 32 NFL teams about not having Deshaun Watson-type contracts enforced again. We're going to get into it. It looks like, I think overall people aren't going to give a shit because it's the NFL and they can do whatever they want and it doesn't really matter. But bad look for the NFL. We'll get to it. We'll hear what Pablo Torre had to say on the Dan Patrick Show as well. Good morning, everybody. Lots going on. The Red Sox absolutely suck. They get swept again, or they get swept by the Angels. They would have got swept at Fenway last week had they not had that little cheesy 299-foot home run. But they get swept. They're pathetic. They turned a double play in the second inning yesterday when they didn't need to turn a double play, because they didn't know how many outs there were. So they got 4 outs. It just continues. They've lost 5 in a row. They absolutely stink. They're going nowhere. And Alex Cora, once again, last night after the game, when you hear his excuses and you hear there's no leadership at all in this club. None. Absolutely none. But we'll get into it. NBA draft last night. I didn't see any of it. I was at the Hart concert. And overall, I'd give it a B-. Excuse me. I'd give it a B-. Hope my voice lasts. They sang. They did 2 sets of like 11 songs and a couple of Led Zeppelin songs, and not Stairway to Heaven, which I didn't think was necessary. And they also did They did Bowie. They did Let's Dance, which I didn't understand why they did that. But anyway, they did. A couple of songs I never heard of, and a couple of songs that they didn't sing, like There's the Girl, they didn't sing that. They did sing, I thought for sure that their last song would be Crazy on You, and it wasn't. It was like the second to last song of the first set, and I didn't get it. The last song they sang was Barracuda. Didn't do any encores. Kind of a half-assed thank you, and that was it. Overall, not bad. Ann sounded great. She sounded great. She was on a stool the whole time, but she sounded great. Nancy's great. And they sound fantastic for the band in this age and how long they've been together, like 50 years. But overall, a little disappointed. All right, enough of that. There's my Hart review. About a B-. About a B-. And again, thanks to everybody at Hertz Arena. Thanks to my buddy Paul and a bunch of my friends who came last night. I mean, we had a good time. We had a real good time. Anywho. Back here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Thanks for checking us out here on Twitter. No Angel Martinez again today. Again, I ask everyone, please send some thoughts and prayers to Angel. Not him personally, well, him personally, but he's dealing with a family issue right now and could use all the prayers and support. So I'd appreciate it. At PShep326, follow me at X Twitter there. On the Facebook pages, on the Coast Network Facebook page, my Facebook page. On YouTube, Kick, Rumble, CSN, Florida, LinkedIn, SR1029 The Game, SR1029thegame.com. Call or text the show, 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. Actually, you can only text the show. You can't call because Angel is off today, and I don't. The phone service is in Tampa, where Angel lives. I am in Fort Myers. But wherever you are around this great world, Kazakhstan, hello. Italy, hello. France, hello. Belgium, hello. Croatia, we're in 53 or 55 now different countries around the world that have tuned in to this show. Canada, hello. Mexico, hello. Hola. Anyway, back here on the Pete Sheppard Show. So last night, let's get into it. The draft happened. And I'll start with my Celtics because it's my show, and they're my team. So they drafted a guy I never heard of. I've seen video, which I can't play, and hopefully if Angel's back tomorrow, maybe we play some of it tomorrow. But from the video I've seen, looks like a pretty good player. So the Celtics drafted last night with the 28th pick overall. They take Hugo Gonzalez. So the scouting report on him is he is 6'6", 205 pounds, forward, obviously. I shouldn't say obviously anymore because a lot of guys that are over 6'6" that play guard. But the consensus is he's had a big early reputation in the Real Madrid system. He's a big wing with solid size and high motor and defensive upside, especially on the ball. The defense is the intrigue here as his best offense is in transition. The shooting is the swing skill. He shot just 29% last year. The Celtics shoot a lot of threes, so he'll need to improve there to really stick with the Celtics. So, now, that being said, and we got great guests coming up for you today as well. 8:05 a.m., Trevor Harris from WQAM, Mike Petralia for CLNS out in Cincinnati. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Bengals and the possible deal. Hendrickson coming to the Patriots. That is gaining a lot of momentum. We'll also check in on Terry Francona and his Reds that Mike covers out there. And then John Meter-Perrell, that Mike will be coming up, tracks at 8:35. John Meter-Perrell at 9:05, Boston College football play-by-play and ACC Network play-by-play voice as well. But for now, let's stick. We're going to stick with Hugo Gonzalez here. Let's see. Again, no video today, just a lot of audio. Let me find it. I'm going to do this in some sort of a semblance of order. Then we're going to after we do some NBA draft recap stuff, which I know is probably going to bore the shit out of some of you. But the only reason I'm going to do the Cooper Flag stuff, the kid from Maine, he's going to be. I think he's going to be an excellent basketball player, and he comes from great family. From everything I've seen and heard, and plus he's from New England, so how could he not be good? And of course, if you've seen him at Duke, where he played briefly in college, he's a tremendous basketball player. All right, let's go to Brad Stevens after the draft. Hugo Gonzalez has all the intangibles of being a winning basketball player. Here's Brad Stevens, the GM of the Celtics.
Just a big fan of how he plays. He's tough. He's hard playing. He cuts. He goes after the ball. He competes. He's got all the intangibles of a winning basketball player. And there's things he can get better at, just like everybody else at that age. But competitiveness is not, it's at a high level.
All right. There's Brad Stevens. So like I said, I've seen his offense, and I've only seen about a 1-minute video of this guy, and it's all about him in transition. And he's looks like a really skilled basketball player. I didn't see him shoot any shots. I just saw him get the ball, at the top of the key or something, or get a pass inside down in the paint and take it to the hoop. He does a great job. Seems very athletic, but we'll see. I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure out how Rutgers gets 2 top 5 picks in the NBA draft and can't even finish 500. That is bizarre to me. It's really unbelievable to me. Afterwards, more Brad Stevens asked about just the state of the Celtics and where they're at.
That's awesome.
Brad, I know there's still a lot of uncertainties this offseason around what this team will look like next year. We've heard the term retooling, rebuilding, all those kind of floating around in the media. How would you describe where you guys are at, and what are some things you can say are certain or likely about next year's roster?
Well, I think we're certain to have some really good players on our roster, right? I mean, even you look at our roster right now today, we've got a lot of really good basketball players that have done a lot of good things in this league, and several have done a lot of great things here. And so we'll see how it all pans out, what it all looks like. But I expect us to go out and compete and, compete with all we've got to be the very best we can. And that will always be the case. And we'll do our best to put the right group together and at the same time regain some flexibility and maximize some asset return. But I do think we've got a good group, and it's a really, again, we've got the foundation, obviously with Jalen and Jason and D. White and Peyton and all those guys that, a lot of teams love to have. You, Rob?
All right, there's Brad Stevens. So, yeah, I agree. And no, Jalen Brown did not get traded last night, nor did Derek White. So there's still another round of the NBA draft tonight. I guess anything can happen, but it certainly doesn't look that way for the Celtics. And I'm glad about that. It certainly looks like Jalen Brown and Derek White are here to stay, as far as I know, at least for now. And they're going to have still a pretty good team next year. I still think they're going to be a top 4 team. And then just hang in there in the 4 or 5 area, maybe. And who knows? But some of these other rookies develop, like Shireman and others. And if they do re-sign Al Horford, who's getting a lot of attention, by the way, in the free agent market, I think the Celtics are going to be fine. And hopefully they get to the, they're in the hunt for the playoffs. So they should be in the playoffs. It's like a 4 or 5. And then get to get Jason Tatum back for the playoffs, and then look out. But there's a long way to go. People are already speculating. And there's another thing why I can't stand so many mainstream media people. Everybody has all these ideas and theories about how any of these players are going to develop in the NBA. Some of them have already been in the Hall of Fame, according to some people. It's so fucking ridiculous. Just wait. Just have faith. I'm not going to sit here and spec. I think Cooper Flagg, because I've seen him a ton, obviously, like most of the country, is going to be a hell of a basketball player. The rest of them, I've seen a lot of these guys in college, but I have no idea. Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, Jeremiah Fears. I mean, I've seen these guys. I have no idea how they're going to develop. No clue. Neither does anybody else. You don't know. You could have you could have the last guy drafted in the second round tonight and be a better player than some of the first round. We've seen the Fultzes of the world. We have seen the Ben Simmons of the world come in at number 1 and just suck. Oh, good news! I just found out too in the NBA. Joel Embiid. Good news. Joel Embiid will be ready for camp. Wonderful, great stuff. So anyway, getting back to the NBA draft, we're gonna wrap this up here quickly. But I want you to hear some of the sound from Cooper Flagg, kid from Maine, draft number 1 overall, and he was great. Let me see. I want to make sure I get this all in the right order. Okay, here's a couple of clips from last night from ESPN from Cooper Flagg.
Cooper, the moment has been realized. How are you feeling?
Feeling amazing. It's a dream come true, to be honest. I wouldn't want to share it with anybody else.
You mentioned sharing it with anybody else. We've got the Flag 5 here. How much have these people meant in getting you here?
I mean, I wouldn't be here without these people right here and all my people back home in Maine. A lot of people up in the box up there. They're here for me, and I wouldn't be here without them. So it just means so much to see everybody here and supporting me.
Mom Kelly, Dad Ralph are here. But when you put the ball in your son's hand, what did you hope to instill to him that a night like this might come true?
I just hope that he loved the game as much as we always have. And, we're just thrilled that he did love it and he got to this moment. It's incredible.
All right, we've got the whole contingency here. We need to set the record straight, guys. Did Mom actually lose to Cooper in the last game?
No, it's not a loss. It was a timeout in the game. It's just been an extended timeout.
Okay, so that's the way it goes. I think it goes to you, Mom, for helping get it to this moment. Congratulations.
All right, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. There, Cooper Flagg, his mom, Kelly, and his dad, Ralph, who I don't know if one of these cuts he's going to speak. Let's hear more from Cooper Flagg and how he feels knowing he's going to be playing with Kyrie Irving. God forbid. Jeez.
So you're a Celtic fan growing up. You spent some years watching Kyrie Irving. Now you're going to play with him. What do you think of his game and the fit with you next to him?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyrie's an incredible player. He's one of the game's greats. He's so skilled, and I definitely went to a couple games, in the Garden and watched him play when he was with the Celtics. So I think it's an incredible opportunity for me, first of all, just to, learn from him. I've heard he's an incredible leader and an incredible role model. So, I'm excited to get down there and learn from him, all around, and just share the court with somebody that of that stature and has had the career that he's had.
Yeah, thanks to SiriusXM NBA Radio for that. Also, here's let's see. Here's Dave Sheppard on SiriusXM NBA Radio on Cooper Flag and the rest of the 2025 draft class.
This NBA draft class of 2025 has a lot of depth. The story, the takeaway, has been Cooper Flag from quite some time. Ever since he reclassified up and committed to playing at Duke in 2024, we all knew he was going to be the #1 overall pick. What's so compelling about this particular #1 overall pick is not just that he has a ready-made NBA game. It's look at the team that he is being thrust onto. Look at the opportunity that is going to unfold with Cooper Flag. He's going to a franchise that has 2 #1 overall picks who played up to that ability and are still in their prime in Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. Had they not been hurt, no question the Mavs would have made noise in the playoffs. Not to say they would have made the NBA Finals again, but they would have made noise. Instead, they get relegated to the draft lottery. And as a result of that, they win the #1 overall pick with a 1.8% chance of doing so, the 4th fewest odds since the NBA draft lottery inception in 1985. Oh yeah, they got a guy named Klay Thompson who's a 4-time NBA champion who's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he hangs it up. They just re-signed Daniel Gafford. You have Derek Lively. You have PJ Washington. There is not a more favorable, more championship-ready franchise that a #1 overall pick has ever gone to, more desirable than what Cooper Flag is about to have thrown his way. Now, Mavs fans, you have been very unlucky with all of this bad luck with this trade situation that happened a few months ago. We won't go into that. What we will go into is the basketball gods have found a way to repay Mavs fans back. And I cannot wait to see a #1 overall pick be able to be part of an NBA championship contending team right away. And I'm telling you something right now. Cooper Flag, there's a reason why he has the ACC scoring record for any freshman in conference history. That's a conference with some guys named Ralph Sampson and Michael Jordan. Anytime you are putting your name in those elite stratospheres, you know the NBA is only that next step on your path of greatness.
Okay, NBA championship caliber team. That remains to be seen. We will see. Anytime Kyrie Irving is out there, I don't trust him. I know he's been more of a quote unquote good guy with the Mavs and Jason Kidd and everything else. That's why Jason Kidd can't go anywhere, because he's the only one that's been able to handle Kyrie Irving. Everywhere else he's gone, he's been a freaking disaster, despite his incredible talent. There's no denying that. But Jason Kidd is the only one. And by the way, the Knicks still don't have a coach. Now, this was an interesting pick in the draft. The Utah Jazz took Ace Bailey, and Ace, a kid out of Rutgers. And apparently, here's how it went down last night on ESPN when they took Utah. Utah took the Ace Bailey with the #5 overall pick.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Arius Ace Bailey from Rutgers University.
Yeah, the question with Ace Bailey was never about his talent, but simply where would the Big Ten all-freshman selection end up? And now we know. The Utah Jazz. Both of his parents, Richard and Ramika, they both played. And his favorite player, Kevin Durant, says that Bailey is a pure talent. KD added that being able to shoot the ball with the type of touch that Bailey has, it's insane is the way that he put it. Scoring is really this young man's thing, Jay. He's gifted in isolation. He's confident when he takes it as he enjoys this moment with his family. And now he is a member of that NBA brotherhood.
Yeah, beyond the measurables, he's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's about 6'8", but he's just a big-time shot maker. He makes tough shots, and they're contested shots. He can make turnaround jumpers with a hand in his face. He's really good with his pull-up game. He shot like 6.
Yeah. The problem is when he got drafted, and I saw the video this morning. I did not see any of the NBA draft live last night because I was at the concert. But his face looked like he was going to cry. And as somebody said, not happy tears either. Apparently, it's not just good enough to get drafted in the NBA going to Utah, which I don't think is a horrible situation for him. But he wanted to go, for some reason, he was looking at Washington, New Orleans, and Brooklyn. Apparently, that's the 3 teams he was hoping he would get drafted by. Sorry, you're going to Utah. I mean, now we got, you got players who it's not good enough just to have the privilege to play in the NBA. Now they get upset. Apparently, he was, I guess, upset that he didn't get drafted by one of those 3 teams. So we'll see. Does he throw a tantrum, not want to play for Utah, and force a trade? Who the hell knows? In this day and age with some of these young athletes, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Hey, it happened back in my day. Certainly it's happened. Certainly it happened with John Elway. It happened with Eli Manning. Happened with Eric Lindros back in the day. So, I mean, it can happen. There's no question about it. Liam McNeely, by the way, was taken by the Phoenix Suns with the last pick. I think they got a steal with that shooting forward out of UConn. I think that was a steal that the Suns got. And you watch out for him. Liam McNeely was the 29th overall pick. For him to fall that down there, and only the Celtics with Hugo Gonzalez, who on the surface, as I said, what I've seen, my 2 minutes of video that I've seen of him, maybe a minute and a half of video, looks like a pretty good player, but who the hell knows? Shoots 29%. That sucks. That's not good. That's not bad. It's awful. I mean, shooting 29%. But he's got skills. Good defense. It looks like it's a good defensive player. Brad Stevens, I trust his instincts. He has been right way more than he's been wrong. He does a great job of player analysis. So we'll see. We'll see there. Let me see what else we got to hear from the NBA draft before I get to the baseball. And then after 7:30, we're going to get into this NFL story. Good God. It is pretty interesting stuff. And it really puts things in perspective. I hate using that term, but people use it all the time. Anyway, about putting everything into perspective. But we'll get to the NFL story after the bottom of the hour break. Let's see. What else can I play from the NBA draft? By the way, thanks to our friends for the best articles and audio. There's only one source that provides everything you need, 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. Staff combing through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep. The name says it all. Let me see. Let's. I know Angel's not here, but just for Angel, we'll do this.
The 3rd pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select VJ Edgecombe from Bimini, Bahamas, and Baylor University.
Sharing a hug with his mom, Bendra. What a moment for this family. Talk to VJ, and it's just so evident the pride he carries for the Bahamas, where he grew up. This is his family in the stands here. And he says the toughness, the heart, and playing on concrete, that shaped him.
I'm sure it did. Here's VJ, and overall pick at number 3. A lot of people, some were surprised that he went that high in the draft. At number 3 overall, can shoot the 3, spot up 3-point shooter, and that's about it. I mean, played for Baylor. Didn't watch a lot of Baylor basketball, so I can't really tell you what exactly, as nobody can. And you're going to hear the Stephen A's of the world. All these people this morning are going to have all these ridiculous projections. And my simple answer is, being honest, as I just don't know. I have no idea how many of these guys are going to be. But it was very emotional last night in the NBA draft. A lot of tears. Everybody was crying all over the place. And VJ, he still can't believe that he's here.
It's obviously a unique path. Growing up in the Bahamas, yes, when did you first have the idea that I'm going to play in the NBA? Did anybody pull you to the side and say, you got a lot of talent, man. You could really make it?
Yeah, I had a coach called him Sugar. He passed away. God bless his soul. So I had a coach that always told me from when I was a kid, like, you gonna make it. But it always sounded crazy, just because of opportunities. That's why it sounded so crazy. But now, I mean, it still don't feel real. I'm gonna be honest. It still don't feel real. Like I'm sitting there talking. It still don't feel like I'm even gonna get drafted. Like it's a surreal moment. But I'm just truly blessed and truly happy to just be in this situation, man.
Seems like a really good kid. Here's more from him, and he's got a buddy also that plays in the NBA from the Bahamas.
Has Buddy Hield, like playing against Buddy Hield and being around Buddy Hield, Kyrie has a great personality.
Yeah,
has that helped you transition at all?
Yeah, it did. He gave me bits and pieces of how to approach the game, stuff like that. But I always tell him that I'm better than him. But if he's being realistic, currently.
Why does everyone talk trash to Buddy Hield? Like Jimmy Butler does, now you are, Chris DeMarco was saying stuff. What is it about Buddy Hield? Does he talk a lot of trash?
He do, that's why. And it's his personality, so, he don't take offense to it at all. He give you that freedom to just talk trash, especially if you have a good relationship, so yeah.
All right, and hopefully he'll be a good player for the Philadelphia 76ers. And, not another Ben Simmons, but we will see. So there you have it. Let's move on to baseball, shall we? And like I said, after the bottom of the hour, we're going to get into this football story about the collusion and an arbitrator finding out that the NFL was colluding with 32 NFL teams, according to Pablo Torre. We'll get his reaction and Dan Patrick's reaction from his show yesterday, things like that. Meanwhile, the Red Sox continue to SUCK, really are terrible. And they did get it going early on in the first inning.
1-2 and a line drive, base hit into left field. Durant is in to score. Gonzalez is in to score. Abreu down to third. 2-0 Boston.
Fastball down and in, and he smokes this thing to left for a couple RBIs. We talk about how important it is for this team to score early, get on the board, get the momentum going. Send your starter out there with some runs on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and the Red Sox got out to a 2-0 lead, and they really they should have probably scored more in this inning because it was bases loaded. I think nobody out, and then they got a two-out knock right there. 2 unearned runs because there was an error by Scott Kingery, the shortstop for the Angels yesterday. He scored 2 unearned runs on that 2-out single there. But Yusei Kikuchi, who started the game, threw 31 pitches in the first inning, and then absolutely, hogtied the Red Sox. They sucked. They struck out like 14 times again. Terrible. He allowed up to 2 hits, walked 1 through 31 pitches in the shaky first inning. But after that, the 34-year-old Japanese lefty recovered, limited the Sox to a hit. No walks over the next 6 innings, and struck out the side in the second and the fifth, and retired the Red Sox in order in the 4th, 6th, and 7th innings. Just wonderful. Great hitting by the Red Sox. Such a super team. Here's the comeback by the Angels.
Adele with a fly ball, left center field, hit pretty well. Duran's going to watch it fly. That's the 10th home run this month for Joe Adele.
Boy, that's another hanging break ball, middle of the plate. This time jumps on it. And an 0-2 pitch. 108 off the bat for Joe Adele. 17th home run of the season.
Yes, and that was in the bottom of the 4th inning. That cut the lead to 2-1. Guess what? The next pitch.
The Angels cut the Red Sox lead in half. Now Darno, the fly ball to right center field. Rafaela's back. Back-to-back home runs to tie the game.
That would be a belly-to-belly, Wayne. Back-to-back pitches. Right center. Left center. Tie game. Travis Dar, yes. 4th home run of the season.
Yep, then they got a go-ahead single back in the 5th. Joe Adele had an RBI single, and the Angels were up for good 3-2. Later on in the game, they got another RBI single from Travis Darnaud, and then they had a Mike Trout RBI single to close it out. 5-2. Angels win. Red Sox absolutely stink. They turned a double play in the second inning yesterday. They didn't know how many outs there were. There were There were 2 outs, and they did a 5-4-3 double play that they didn't need to do the 4-3 part of it because it was already. But it's just a Red Sox. Oh, and let's see. Somebody, Rob Refsnyder. Let me get the box score here for a second, just to see the Angels yesterday or the Red Sox yesterday. Only got 3 hits in the game. It was terrible. They only got 3 hits in the whole freaking game, and one of them was that storied RBI, 2 RBI single that were unearned runs for them in the first inning. Fitz was okay. 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, struck out 6, walked 1. Guerrero came in and shit the bed. 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 1. But the hitting for the Red Sox was just absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Losing that game by a score of 5-2. Rob Refsnyder after the game. I love this guy. One of the few guys I like on the Red Sox because he doesn't pull punches.
Yeah, he had his off speed really working. Kept us off balance with his changeup on the way. Just executing his pitches, but we did a really bad job adjusting, myself included, especially as a leadoff guy. I got to get on base, and I did a bad job of that today. But yeah, he kept me off balance with the changeup, and I think he did a really good job of starting that slider kind of middle in, and getting it for a strike on the inner half. But yeah, he kept us off balance after the third. Or second, third inning. So, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Again, adjustments. The Red Sox don't make any. Here's Alex Cora with more excuses.
There were 38 strikeouts over this series. How alarming a number is that?
I don't know if you follow us. We've been striking out since day one, so we have to make adjustments.
Well, you don't.
He did well. I think the pitch count got up there. I think the last outing was like between 75 and 80 pitches. The 0-2 to Adele, probably he wants it back. And then Darnell, it's a fastball up. We can live with that one. He put a good swing on it, hit out of the ballpark. But he was good, I think he probably had a little bit in the tank, but, for his first one back, I think that was good enough.
How big was it to have this game back compared to after his last start against the Angels?
We were joking after the first inning that, it was already a good one. So I think the stuff was good. The fastball command was a lot better. Move the ball around and make them feel uncomfortable inside. So he'll be ready for the next one.
There were 38.
You make me feel uncomfortable. I mean, what is this laughing and giggling shit? There's nothing positive to take out of that game. Nothing. 38 Ks in 3 games, you jackasses. And you keep talking about making adjustments that you never... What? We're 82 games. You're now 2 games under 500. What's their stupid record? They're 40-42. They're fading fast in the wild card race. It's just it's ridiculous. They're 40-42. This organization, you are embarrassing yourselves. 3 hits in this again. 38 strikeouts. Are you kidding me? And nobody's been fired yet? God almighty, your analytics team sucks. Fire them all. It doesn't mean shit. Get this team to start to play fundamentally good baseball, and maybe you can get back to 500. Stop with this analytics stuff, because it ain't working. Whatever the philosophy is that this team had in 2004 is a complete 180 of shit right now in 2025. Alex Cora giggling. I don't want to see my manager smiling like that. There's nothing to smile about. Nothing. Team sucks. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. All right, elsewhere around the majors yesterday before we go to break, and then we're going to get into the NFL. Cubs blank St. Louis 8-0. White Sox over Arizona 7-3. By the way, that asshole fan in Arizona that booed Ketel Marte over his late mother's death, he's been banned. That was a story that they forgot to touch on. It was a horrible thing, but they got that scumbag, and he's out. Texas blank Baltimore 7-0 as well. The Mets get back on track. They beat Atlanta by a score of 7-3. Milwaukee doubled up Pittsburgh 4-2. Minnesota snapped their 5-game losing streak, beat Seattle 2-0. San Diego blanked Washington 1-0. And the A's have 5 shutouts this year, all on the road. They beat Detroit 5-0 as well.
Between innings.
1-1 to Kurtz towards center field. That ball's going back, and Nick Kurtz is at it, a homer. 3-run shot for the big fella. That's 11 on the season. It's 3-0 A's.
What a monster blast from Nick Kurtz.
Such a horrible broadcast. Terrible. Yankees over Cincinnati 7-1. Cleveland over Toronto 5-4. By the way, that was the NBC Sports California. Cleveland got by Toronto in 10 innings by a score of 5-4. 5-4.
Jose, base hit to left. The comeback kid, strike again.
Fourth walk-off of the year for the Guardians at home.
Jose Ramirez with the bases loaded and nobody out, knowing he's going to see a strike, delivers. And a walk-off single for Jose.
Hey, Tampa Bay also blanked Kansas City 3-0. Houston blanked Philly. A lot of blankings last night. Phillies get blanked 2-0. Dodgers over Colorado 8-1 in that one. And in 10 innings, Miami over San Francisco by a score of 8-5. All right. Want to tell you about Phil Castanetti's Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts, is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So head on down to the Phil Castanetti's Sports World in Saugus, Mass, 184 Broadway. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. All right, quick break. When we come back, we are going to get into this story heavily, which is back. An arbitrator ruled in January. This is from Pablo Torre's Find Out podcast, published the January 14th decision. An arbitrator in the report an arbitrator ruled in January that there was no collusion by NFL clubs in response to a grievance filed by the NFL Players Association in 2022 that alleged the league and its member clubs concluded to restrict or limit fully guaranteed player contracts in the wake of Deshaun Watson's record-setting contract. Now, the Pablo Torre podcast, which had not been made public previously, on Tuesday, contacted ESPN, and the NFLPA declined to comment, and the NFL did not respond. We'll tell you what the report is that says that certainly sounds like there was absolutely collusion. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more when the Pete Sheppard Show continues here on this Thursday right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Andersen windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Andersen windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Center field it pretty well. Duran's going to watch it fly. That's the 10th home run this month for Joe Adell. The Angels cut the Red Sox lead out. Now Darno to fly ball to right center field. Rafaela's back. Back-to-back home runs to tie the game.
That would be a belly-to-belly Wayne. Back-to-back pitches.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. Absolutely no great performance by the Red Sox yesterday. Thanks to the FanDuel Sports Network right there. Red Sox had a 2-0 lead in the first inning. Probably should have scored 5 or 6, but since they can't hit for shit, they only got 1 hit in that inning, and it was by Story, the 2-out RBI, 2 RBI single. That was it. They blew it and could have taken advantage of a pitcher who was really struggling in the first inning, but they couldn't do it. They go on to lose 5-2. They've struck out 38 freaking times in this series, 14 yesterday. Absolutely ridiculous. I do want to say, and I have been mentioning this, and I for some reason I just had a brain cramp going into break, talking about Phil Castanetti's Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts, down at 184 Broadway. The Red Sox should all go down there on Tuesday, July 1st, and just touch Mike Napoli. Just touch him. Mike Napoli's going to be down there, 2013 World Series champion Mike Napoli. Maybe the Red Sox can all go to Phil's place at 184 Broadway in Saugus, coming up on July 1st. That's a Tuesday from 10 a.m. until noon. There'll be autographs and a whole bunch of stuff available. But the Red Sox, if they're they need to go to Sports World and just touch Mike Napoli and get a sense of what a champion feels like. And maybe some of that will literally rub off on them because this team stinks right now. The manager stinks, the general manager stinks, the team stinks, and the owner's invisible. So go down there, Red Sox, I implore, please go down to Phil Castanetti's Sports World. You should go down there anyway. But on Tuesday, go down there July 1st and just reach out and touch Mike Napoli. Touch him. That's what a world champion looks like. Not you jackass Bad News Bears team. That is the most fundamentally inept team I have seen in quite some time. Way to turn a double play yesterday in the second inning when none was needed. Way to know how many outs are out. It's just unbelievable. They stink. All right, let's get to the NFL. Because I got some great guests lined up for you today. As I said, Trevor Harris, WQAM in Miami, will join me for his weekly visit at 8:05. Mike Petraglia, Trags, out in Cincinnati, working his tail up out there, at least right now, covering the Bengals, which is very interesting. And the Cincinnati Reds and Terry Francona, they're doing much better than the Red Sox are. And then later, he'll be at 8:35. 9:05 will be John Meter-Perrell. All right, so we told you the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast published the January 14th decision. An arbitrator ruled in January that there was no collusion. This report refutes that completely. And here is Pablo, who made the rounds yesterday. I'm trying to find the best clips. And I think the Dan Patrick Show is the best one that he was on. He was also on with Florio on Pro Football Talk, and might play some of that as well. But here's Pablo Torre yesterday on the Dan Patrick Show. This is really, really, I'm not going to play the whole 8 minutes, obviously, but just get you with the gist of what is going on in the NFL. I'm not going to say this is like frightening or totally unexpected, but this is something I can't wait to see how Roger Goodell is going to respond to this.
Now, I want you to dumb this down, though, Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
And just so our audience knows exactly what the NFL, are they guilty of or being accused of?
They are being accused of quite a bit. They are guilty, and that is, I'll use that word sort of conversationally here.
Okay.
They were found by the arbitrator to have attempted to collude with the 32 NFL teams. We have extensive documentation now. By the way, hello, thank you for having me. This is a 61-page document that has been suppressed by both the league, the owners, and the union, in which there's a treasure trove, Dan, and there's just one bit of vocabulary that I want to do at the top, which is expedited discovery. What does this mean?
Expedited discovery.
It means that you get all of the texts, the emails, the documents, the private messages, the slideshows, all of the secret stuff from owners, players, agents, executives. It's the treasure trove. And so the question of there is a treasure trove, there's a finding that the NFL encouraged the owners to collude to prevent the next Deshaun Watson contract. You'll recall that was fully guaranteed, unprecedented. They wanted to stop Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. That same summer of 2022, they wanted to stop that from happening. So into all of this, I guess I walk in and I'm like, oh man, I think I can get this document. And I now have a sense of why the union and the league, neither side, wanted this out there. And that was the question. Why haven't we heard about this? Well, there's a lot deeper here that explains that too.
Okay, but do you need to have a slideshow, send out a memo to not be stupid like the Cleveland Browns were with Deshaun Watson?
Bingo.
Well, it's a great question. And so despite that, despite what seems obvious, Roger Goodell, in repeated emails with Jeff Pash, as general counsel, had this exact conversation. We need to make sure that they don't do this. And so there's this thing called the NFL Management Council, Dan, and this is a shadowy entity that I didn't understand before I reported this story. But at the league annual meetings, all right, I'll set the scene. It's Palm Beach. It's a big conference room. Into this walk the 32 owners and the representatives. At the front of the room are the head and the executives in charge of the NFL MC. And there's a slideshow presentation. And in the slides, there is written off to the side for the presenters to see the results of these emails that Roger Goodell had written back and forth with Jeff Pash, in which they wanted to spare no ambiguity as to the fact that this would be a problem if anybody else did this. So it's a great question. A horrible contract. We laughed at it at the time. And yet, it's so symptomatic of the level of control and cohesion when it comes to why they didn't want to even allow the possibility that someone would be dumb enough to do this again.
Did teams collude, or was the NFL asking them to collude?
That is the key distinction that the arbitrator drew, is that the NFL encouraged them to do it. Here are the documents, here are the emails, but they didn't have admissions on the record. And certainly they had denials from the 8 NFL owners that they had witness testimony from, that they, again, spoiler alert, that they did not sign another Deshaun Watson-style contract, right? There were never guarantees like that again. But the arbitrator could not prove that that was because the NFL had encouraged them. What we did see, though, in these documents, it's just over and over again, private text messages between the owner of the Cardinals and the owner of the Chargers, in which they are celebrating how Kyler Murray's contract was going to be not guaranteed. And how, in fact, as Michael Bidwill, the owner of the Cardinals, says, and I'll just quote this, he gets a text message from Dean Spanos. Dean Spanos says, "Congratulations on signing Murray." Michael Bidwill says, "Thanks, Dino. These QB deals are expensive, but we limited the fully guaranteed money. I have some pretty good language. Thankfully, you have a QB that's worth paying." Spanos says, in response, "Your deal helps us for our quarterback next year."
Oh.
And so, look, everybody.
All right. Oh, my God. There's a lot to digest and analyze there. No question about it. Before we do that, though, I do want to hear one more person yesterday, Ari Mirioff, who does a great job covering the NFL. He's if Adam Schefter is 1, this guy is 1A, and here's his thoughts on this whole matter.
There's a lot of details in this entire story, but I'm sure Lamar knew at the time that teams were basically teaming up over here not to pursue him, because it made zero sense that you got no calls at all, especially when the year before there were teams, the 4 teams at the time were the Saints, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Browns, who were all pursuing Deshaun Watson and all were willing to give up 2 or 3 first-round picks plus a very big contract. At the very next year, nobody wanted Lamar Jackson. Clearly, he knew something was up. He did say later on that he only wanted to stay in Baltimore. He never wanted to leave. That was more of a strategy by him. But for all these details to actually come out now, and for him to see that in text and to know everything these owners said publicly was essentially just a bunch of word salad, I would imagine that probably disturbs him a little bit.
Well, I mean, this is a huge deal. You know, I think I cannot wait to see. Excuse me, what Roger Goodell is going to say. If you feel he needs to respond to this, he probably in some way, shape, or form. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I do want to play one more as Dan Graziano and Andrew Hawkins react to the NFL. PA filed alleging the league colluded to limit fully guaranteed contracts. Let me just get through the spot here, and then I will play it for you. But this is a huge deal. There's no question. I think it's a huge deal, but it's a huge deal. But it's the NFL, and they'll get away with it because there's nothing that could possibly happen that would make people turn off the NFL. It just doesn't, regardless of what anybody says. Or if they make it political and never going to watch. I love them when they're never going to watch again. Blah, 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 blah. It may be 0.1% of those people actually, follow through. Okay, here's the report I just talked about. Here coming up with Darlington and Hawkins about this situation on ESPN.
What do you make of this story?
Yeah, I'm more surprised that it took so long for this to become news. But as far as the contents of the story, I can't say that there was anything I'm super surprised about, meaning that it is in the owner's best interest to try not to guarantee contracts. That is how the NFL is set up. It's the owner's job to try to pay you the least amount possible. And as a player, it is our job to try to get a team to overpay, right? When you look at the Deshaun Watson contract, we knew that there was an opportunity for players to set a precedent and that owners were going to go against it. Now, again, as far as the document or the NFL encouraging them not to do so, again, I think the owners themselves would have come to that conclusion, and also the results of that contract probably hurt the case more than anything of Deshaun Watson obviously not living up to that standard on the field, and also injury concerns.
Yeah, that's an important point, I think, in all of this, right? It'd be different if that was a success story. Graz, what does this mean for contract negotiations going forward, though?
Well, ideally, it means heightened vigilance on the part of players and agents, because the surprising thing about this story is not that billionaire business owners would try and restrict wages. I think that probably goes on a lot of other places as well, besides the NFL. That's why you have labor unions. And for some reason, the union didn't make these findings public. That's one of the more baffling parts of this to me. But the message is, as players and as agents, you're allowed to collude with each other. You can talk to each other you can compare emails. If you both got the same exact contract offer from multiple teams for the same player, or similar players, you might have a case. And I think just knowing that this is something that the owners would want to do and knowing that the union didn't make the findings public for whatever reason, they have yet to comment on this, it should be a warning to players and agents for future negotiations. Like, hey, you probably need to stick together. Remember, Laura, when the running backs were all mad a couple years ago and they had like a Zoom call and they were all talking about how to make like that? That's the kind of thing players can do. That's legal for the employees to engage in that kind of behavior. And I think that should be the lesson for players and agents that comes out of this.
There's no question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. I'm telling you, it is amazing, and you wonder why that the union did not make these findings public. That is the biggest question that I've had from the get-go when I stumbled upon this story yesterday. But my goodness, really is unbelievable. I want to see what else is down here. Now, Christopher Droney did not award any damages and dismissed the NFLPA's demand in its entirety. He found that the NFLPA showed, quote, by a clear preponderance of the evidence that concerted action was contemplated and invited at the March 2022 owners meeting, unquote. He cited clear evidence, including emails from the league's management council and Commissioner Roger Goodell, and presentation slides from a meeting, which you've heard, with ownership and attendance that satisfied one of three elements to determine whether collusion occurred. The other two he did not find sufficient evidence to support was concerted action contemplated and invited. Droney wrote, there is little question that the NFL Management Council, with the blessing of the commissioner, encouraged the 32 NFL clubs to reduce guarantees in veteran contracts at the March 2022 annual owner meetings. Droney did write, though, however, in his conclusion that the teams, quote, did not join in such a collusive agreement and did not act in accordance with one as to the three quarterbacks named in the initial arbitration demand or to the veteran players. They can say stuff all they want now. This just can be every NFL player, particularly the high-profile ones, are going to be they're going to have all their agents they're all going to be on red alert as if they weren't already. Again, it's just amazing to me it's taken this long for a story like this to come out. And Pablo Torre, good for you that you did it. But man, oh man, this is I don't understand. This is the type of thing that usually the union would want, in any sport, would want the public to know stuff like this or get it out there, make the league. But they must have had some wink-wink handshake deal with Roger Goodell or Jeff Pash or somebody in there. By the way, Pash wrote for the decision that in the past 2 years, quote, the very top players, quote unquote, received, quote, large guarantees, unquote, but the management council wouldn't have a, quote, better sense of whether the larger guarantees are extending further into the free agent pool, unquote, until the next tier of players are signed. He wrote that it was something that we will want to discuss at both the football ops sessions and with the owners as well. Goodell replied via email, agreed, but the tip of the market is most of the dollars, and if we wait to see how it falls, we'll be too late to counter. Agree with raising with a big concern that this will erode a key aspect of our CBA that resisted guaranteed money except as clubs determined on their own. By the way, the slide shows a bar graph that illustrated that since 2022 Super Bowl, the average club has committed over $86 million in signing bonus and salary guarantees, a 100% increase, by the way, over 2020, and a 92% increase in over 2020 in the number of players receiving signing bonuses and salary guaranteed. Anyway, interesting story. Can't wait to see if Roger Goodell has more to say about this. All right, quick break here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. And when we come back, our weekly visit with Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami. 8:30, Mike Petraglia covers the Bengals and the Reds. Will get his perspective out in Cincinnati, possible deal in the works with the Patriots coming up. And John Meter-Perrell at 9:05 a.m. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
You know, when the Scorpions come on and rock you like a hurricane, it's time to head over to the east coast of Florida and check out Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami. Joining us for his weekly visit here on the Pete Sheppard Show. And last we spoke, he had just got done producing the Florida Panthers' second Stanley Cup in as many years, Stanley Cup final championship in as many years. Had the parade. I really thought, like you'd be in the cup, you know, half naked with a couple of cocktails, maybe one with an umbrella in it. And Kachuk would have you in the cup and just carrying you into the ocean, or maybe on your jet ski that I always put your picture up. It looks like you're invading Cuba, you know, when you come out on the jet ski.
That was in Key West last year, girl, through the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico.
Close. You're close to Cuba. That's a close.
I was close, anyways. But I was stuck in a producer's control room, and from 10:30 in the morning till I had to do the afternoon show, so I didn't get out of there till 4:30.
What day was this?
This was Sunday.
Oh wow! So you had to produce the whole parade thing, and
I got to ask you to do the afternoon show because I already asked. My buddy asked me, "Can you cover for me?" He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
And so then you had a host. How were the phone calls, and how were the people?
No phone calls because we only had an hour, so no one called in. Everyone was slurry, as I like to say. Anyways,
did you get to celebrate it all?
My celebration was, could you cut up all the all the parade sound? So I didn't get to do much celebration, but I think maybe this weekend I'll be able to do my own little celebration because I'm done with after Friday. I got to do the Panthers draft show. Then I'm done for most of the year, anyways.
You guys doing an NBA draft show last night and got Kasparis Jakoshonis from Illinois.
The Fighting Illini.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this pick for the Miami Heat, but I mean, he sucks shooting threes. Mm-hmm. He's not a great defensive player. But, you know, all these scouting reports that people have, Trevor, in my experience of doing this almost 39 years now, nobody knows shit. They can have all the scouting reports they want out there. Who the hell knows? You know,
everyone wanted to know who I wanted. It's like just get Jason Richardson's son and we'll be fine anyways. Just get Jason Richardson, we'll be fine. And I always say this, the Heat haven't figured out the guard position since, especially the point guard position, forever. It's like Dwayne Wade was good at they try to make him be the point, but they move him to shooting guard. And they always just go for like, oh, we'll get the veteran point guard. Like, you're better off making your own point guard, you know, so you can keep forever and grow, you know. Like Tim Hardaway ain't walking through that door, and like Mike Miller's not walking through that door, and so on and so on and so on. So it's better off you're drafting young anyways, because you can't move anybody, and them losing out of Kevin Durant has been my favorite thing ever. So
I kind of figured he was going to end up with Houston, although it would have been interesting had he'd gone to the Miami. Stephen A. says Kevin Durant is one of the top 10 all-time NBA players. All time.
Yeah.
No.
I think you want to know where he's at? He's like in the 25.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's never averaged less than 25 points a season. I mean, he's a terrific talent, but you know, it's not like everywhere he goes they start winning championships. I mean, he's got one, right? He's got one.
He's got two anyways. So
does he have two?
Yeah, he won. He came in 16, 17, 17, 18. He went back.
That's right.
That.
Yeah, that seems like decades ago.
Yeah, I don't remember those NBA finals. I'd rather watch the Cup final, as I like to say. So.
Yeah. So no buzz about Kasparis.
I haven't. I woke up maybe like an hour ago. I haven't thrown on anything yet, so I want to know. I usually listen to hear what the man, myth, the legend, Joe Rosa would be saying, but I'll have to check it out on the podcast anyway. So all I know is like they got a draft pick. So the only team that does not have a draft pick for the draft show is for the Florida Panthers on Friday night. That's the final piece that goes to Calgary, by the way, for the Matthew Tkachuk trade from the 3 off seasons ago. So
well, it certainly seems like the buzz is they're going to be able to keep most of these guys. It reminds you what the Celtics did last year, and it certainly seems. And Bennett especially, and others. I mean, Eklund may be the one that goes, but
Ekblad is going to get paid.
Yeah.
Me personally, this is my little world.
Yeah.
I want Brad Marchand to go back to Boston. That's where he belongs. But I know
That's not happening at
it's
all. I
not
can
going
tell
to
you right.
happen. But if he goes to
not
Toronto, that'd be. I want more entertainment with that. Because that would.
I hope he stays with Florida.
I just want these right now. They're not like I appreciated Brad Marchand forever.
Yeah.
I thought he was a great player.
Yep.
All the people down here trashed him.
Well, of course, because he was the enemy. Now they love him.
I know that's the thing. So I'm like, everyone tells me to shut up. I was like, I looked like, were you defending him when he was licking players? I bet you were not. So let me have my moment here anyway.
Yeah, he's done a couple, but he absolutely was an integral part of them winning. I mean, he's one of he's the perfect example of the guy you bring in professional sports, no matter what league, and put you over the top. That's
it's
what
like Chris Kunitz almost back in the day when Pittsburgh got him from Anaheim and stuff.
And then Jones comes in out of nowhere and helps you too. I mean, that was
that was a smart move because they had a feeling if they lose Ekblad, they have a nice consolation prize, so they don't have to like go in the trade market for people finding another defenseman.
And I don't think Sam Bennett's going to be an a-hole in his next contract. He flat out said it. I don't know if that's to his detriment that he's not going anywhere. He wants to stay.
I think it's bad for him because I want people to get paid, and him taking hometown discount is I always say this for the NHLPA. It's like you taking a hometown discount. That's bad for the NHLPA because you want more money, don't you? It's like taking hometown discount, stay with one team. That's beautiful, but
then on the other hand, your GM Zito, who's great, it said that they're going to spend as much as they can, with the salary cap and everything else. So I have this feeling that Bennett's going to get a pretty fair deal.
Yeah, like I would like to see him get if he can get a 7-year deal, it'd be nice. But I don't think he's going to get the term at least. I think he's going to get I think he's going to get the AAV, but not the years though. So
yeah, what do you think of the crowd turnout? It was like 400,000 people. Should have been more.
It was more people. I personally was. I was talking to a few of my buddies. They went down. They told me we liked it when it was raining last year.
Yeah,
because it was way cooler. Sunday
was hot. It was hot as hell on Sunday. I was in Pittsburgh and it was hot there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There we go. We were at Lulu's Bait Shack on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and that was packed and stuff. And people were asking me, "Why aren't you there?" It's like, who's gonna run this anyways?
And then you had to do the post game. I mean, you didn't want to take calls from drunken Panther fans after
the dump button got worked out enough anyway. So,
because you guys had a crew broadcasting from down there too, right?
A crew broadcasting there. Me and Dan Day, who does the weekend show.
Yep.
We were in back in the studio working that dump button, especially when Reinhardt was saying the F word.
Yeah.
Kachuk, Bennett, Marchand. I was like, my boss called me. I was like, "Are you dumping?" I was like, "Yeah, we're dumping. What do you think I'm doing?"
Well, then the other part about that is, and I know what our producers went through in Boston, and then you have to cut the sound up and you have to bleep everything out, which makes it doubly hard, right? You got to go back and listen to all of that again and edit all that crap out. Unless you do shows like this where you can fucking swear whenever you want.
I know. I said this. I'm taking this home and doing it because I'm not staying in this control room any longer, and I just want to be. I just want a blizzard and do the post game sound and chill for the rest of the day and jump in the pool. That was me.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but that must have been. I can't imagine the dump on. I can't even imagine. Did they get some of the players to come up to where you were broadcasting from?
No, none of the players were going up to us because of we were on the balcony level.
Yeah,
Lulu's Bait Shack.
Yeah.
So we had a camera, like Tobin's GoPro had a camera.
Awesome.
It dropped. Guy caught it. The camera dropped. The guy.
Were you guys showing it on your feeds
on YouTube? Yeah, the thing fell.
Oh
and
no!
The guy caught it, threw it back up to us, anyways. And one of the hosts caught it as well. So
nobody ran off with it.
No one ran off. I thought if that was up north, that thing would have been
gone.
See ya, anyways.
Oh, that must have been. Now, is that caught on? Did you get that when it fell? Or was it rolling?
That's on tapes. That's on the live stream. I'll say that. Tobin's trying to find it right now.
We're gonna see. Yeah, if you come up with that footage at some point, maybe next week or the week, whatever it is, I would love to see that happen in real time.
Yes, that was entertainment. I like to say. Anyway, so
how were the fans around the broadcasting? Was it because that can get just as out of hand as?
So one of the bartenders was giving them drinks the whole time. Anyways, this was like
That's awesome.
Like he just like drinks. I was like, yes. Anyway, and people say, why don't you drink it? Trevor was like, I what do you want me to drink? I have a liquid IV. If I was down there, I would participate, but I'm up here anyway.
So did you hang out anywhere over the weekend that besides there? I mean, I know you said you never
I did
did
Fort
the
Lauderdale.
Elbow Room. Did you finally go?
No, I didn't. I went to my place on Saturday after I went to the pool all day anyway. So
yeah,
I went to my spot. I went to the Parrot Lounge. It was there, and we just walked. I walked around because I knew I had to go back to my place early so I could pass out and go work out. So
wait a second. Were you having cocktails at the pool, or just like you could have worked out at the pool?
I could have, but I meant by Sunday. Like get up and do a workout before I have to be stuck in the control room for almost 8 hours. So
yeah.
That's why.
That's something.
Oh yeah.
How's the food? I mean, how's your vending machine? Did you bring food in?
I usually bring my own food here. Usually,
Yeah.
I hate relying on the vending machine. So
how's your coffee machine there?
It's all right. I don't think I always get Starbucks before or Dunkin' Donuts before.
Yeah.
I trust that more because I don't like the Keurig K-Cups. It just
really?
Yeah, it messes up with my stomach all the time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had so much in college, it just messes me up. Anyway,
even the Dunkin' Donut and the K cups, even those will mess you up.
I haven't done it in a while, but that one was the only one that liked me. That one and the donut shop one.
Oh yeah, donut shop one's good. I mean, they don't. The only brand, and it doesn't matter what brand it is. They all have that Colombian. I can do every type of brand.
Yeah,
as long as there's no sugar in it or anything like that.
That's the only one
the Colombian brand goes right through me. Right through me.
I don't touch. I don't touch any of the Colombian or South American coffee. I know that's gonna mess my system up. I was like, I do not want that. Honestly,
it's not that it doesn't taste good. It just does. It just goes right through me. Give me my fake caramel chocolate thing or something like that. I like a flavored coffee. And
yeah. Let me look like a basic bitch with my blended frappuccino with whipped cream and like caramel.
That's not coffee. That's a milkshake.
That's what I do when I do Joe Rose. Sometimes I get like the medium one. So
and those are what, $50?
Let me look. I think it's like mine cost me $8 at least or $7.
Jesus God.
I know. I used to do the Veni. I had to scale back because I was like, that was just knocking me out.
You think about you have one of those every day. A lot of people do. I mean, it can add up.
Yeah.
You know, even on average, a $5. Because I know a small Starbucks down here in Fort Myers was about $4.25 or $4.50. A small Starbucks
$6.25. Caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino blended beverage. I don't do it anymore, so I do the grande. So.
The grande.
Yes. I call it the medium, and they get really mad at me. And I said, like, can I have a large? I said, can I have a large caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino? You mean Veni? It's like, sure, just I want a large. And it's like, can you just start saying the word? This is the one in Miami that's near me, and they're wonderful. Like, can you at least say the word Veni? Is like, what do you mean by Veni?
Yeah.
Veni this. Veni make my coffee.
God almighty.
So then they usually make too much, and they give me another one for free. And I give it to one of my coworkers and stuff.
Do they have a tip jar at the Starbucks drive-thru?
They need to. They really need. They should, because I would at least throw like the coins in my car in there, or just throw them $1 or a couple dollars in there. Keep them moving.
I love when they say you go to put your card in, and they're like, they're gonna ask you a question at the bottom. It's not just Starbucks. They're gonna ask you a question at the bottom. I'm like, does McDonald's do that? Burger King, the drive-through? I'm sorry, and I have tipped drive-through people many times. I've also bought the people in back of me like Christmas time. Don't know who they are. I'm one of those guys that will do that once a year because it's been done for me too. All of a sudden, somebody say, "Oh, that you're taken care of." That's it's a nice thing. Makes you feel good. But I don't order like food. Being asked. There's a question there. They're going to ask you when you put your card in. No tip. Most of the time.
I am no tip guy.
You're at the drive-thru.
I'm a no tip guy for the drive-thru, and whenever you do the app, no tip as well.
The what?
When you order food off the apps, like like Shake Shack, like, do you want to throw a tip for things? Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
This is not like an Uber driver or something like that.
No.
It's gotten out of hand. I think and then. You got to really, because some of the restaurants now are out of control, and I can just tell you what it's like here in Florida. And like I said, at least where I am in Southwest Florida, All great restaurants. I've never sent a meal back or anything like that. The service industry down here, I think, is second to none for 99.9% of the time. Really, really friendly servers. Really go out of their way. They're not responsible sometimes for some of the chefs that are out there.
Yeah.
Or some of the bad. But anyway, you got to look at if you're using a credit card, 3% extra charge already. Then it could be another surcharge. Then sometimes they, at some of these places, add an automatic tip already. Of 18%. I know I'm not talking about having a crowd of 6 or 7. I'm talking about, just you and maybe somebody else, and they're adding 3%. I can't stand that when these restaurants do a service charge of 3% on your credit card, but if you pay cash, it's fine.
It's wild. I think I always say this: Florida and Texas, because I was in Texas a lot last year. Very good service industry. I will always say both good states. Up north, get it together, please. Learn from Florida and Texas, please. For that, sorry.
I think some of the some of the places in Boston downtown, I think they get it. I think it's good service industry up there.
I haven't been up to Boston since 2021, anyways, so it's been a minute for me.
I haven't been in Boston. Jeez. Oh well, I was there last year, but briefly. That was for Glenn's induction into the Massachusetts Broadcasters Hall of Fame. But we didn't go downtown. We went to Davio's in Braintree, which was fantastic.
There we go.
My man, Steve DiFilippo, who's just unbelievable. I mean, he put a spread out, and they were all appetizers, and they were unbelievable, incredible stuff. But we digress. Have you ever been on a cruise before?
I've never been on a cruise. My dad is anti-cruises, by the way.
He is.
Yes, he thinks if I'm going to spend my money, I'd rather go to California. We have family out there.
Yes.
And I'd rather go spend it on there and also the beaches at Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Huntington Beach, and Manhattan Beach.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend my money there. And my mom's like, fine. Because she hates, both my parents hates cruises. Both of them work in the hospital industry. He's like, that's just a petri dish of, what anyways. So.
Well, I've been on 3.
Okay.
Never had a problem. Enjoyed them very much. But I totally get where your parents are coming from.
Yeah.
Now go watch Netflix. Go watch The Poop Cruise. It is the documentary. You'll see it because it just came out the other day. It's at the top. You have to see it.
It's on my list, by the way. I know which one you're talking about.
It is unbelievable. It happened in 2013. A Carnival cruise ship left Galveston, Texas. Just going to go quick little loop around, to Cozumel, which I've been to twice, and loop back. And a 3-day trip turned into an 8-day poop fest trip, where it was all the wires blew out, or the electricity got shut down. It's incredible. And now that it's come out, it's going to make people not want to go on cruises, even though it happened 12 years ago. And you would hope that there would be some better.
It's going to be a bad look for Mickey Harrison since he owns Carnival Cruise Line anyways. A bad look for Mickey Harrison. I'm going to love it. People forget that anyways. He owns the Carnival Cruise Line. So
yeah.
He's probably telling his employees not to watch this movie anyways.
Oh my God. It's got all people that were on the ship, and obviously it's 12 years later, but there was a bachelorette party. Now it's later. It has a little thing afterwards with some of the passengers that they profiled and what they're doing now and all. But it's absolutely unbelievable.
Did you watch America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleader season 2 yet, or no?
No, I made it through season 1. It gets a little like
heart tearing.
Yeah, how's season 2?
It's okay. I have my favorites. They did not show them enough anyways. I was like, what's the point? But the redhead they showed last year, who's from Arizona State.
Yeah,
he made the team and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! I have something to root for." So it was all right, but I like last season's more anyway.
It becomes like so pretentious, and so you sit there's like you
kind of know when who's going to get cut.
It just some of these people are so stupid. You sit there like, how do you even make it out of bed in the morning? How do you, and it's just all, and it gets, and they're all good looking women, obviously, and all that crap. But it's more
Kelly
about
Fineglass. I would like to have smoke a cigarette with or smoke a cigar with. That is my real true thing now. I would like to smoke one of those with her so we can talk life and how does this work every day?
Yeah. But I mean, they go through hell. I mean, those girls go through hell. There's no question about it. They work hard, and but they get paid. I know it's the outside stuff where they get paid.
Yeah,
good stuff.
getting doing the Netflix. I forget they were at the Mike Tyson fight. Anyways, that was hilarious, and the Austin F1 race and stuff. So
that movie looks really good too. You know, I'm not an F1 guy.
Yeah,
but that movie with Brad Pitt looks really, really good.
I'm gonna definitely check that out. As my dad was an F1 guy before it was really cool.
Yeah,
and he hates the new F1 crowd. Anyway, so he's like, I'm out. Anyway,
he hates the F1 crowd or the people that are racing.
What it's become now. He's like, I'm out on this because he used to go to like Monza back in the day, like the late '90s, early 2000s.
Has he gone to the one in Miami? Because it's aesthetically beautiful.
My brother has, but my dad says like, I'm good. I don't like this new Miami, like the F1.
Doesn't want to stand at section 307 at Hard Rock and look down and watch the professional.
No, he would rather go to the Canadian Grand Prix in Habitants of Montreal, at least, or something like that. So,
all right, my man. Still nothing about the Dolphins, right? And Charlie Brown. And I forgot. How about Antonio Brown? He's bankrupt. What a shock!
Did you see the NFL All Century, the quarter century team? By the way, there's some disgraces on there.
Well, they have Tom Brady #1.
Tom Brady, yeah, he should be on there.
They don't have Aaron Rodgers in the top 25, which pleases me.
He's on the practice squad, anyways, of Drew Brees. Anyways, but how they don't have Larry Fitzgerald on the offense is an absolute disgrace. By the way,
I agree. Absolutely,
so
agree.
I think you should definitely. We talked about on the Upper Bowl podcast this week how we did the offense this week because I didn't want to lose any brain cells for the defense the following week. Same show. So.
Well, and then how about this Pablo Torre report with the collusion?
I didn't see that.
They got
Pablo Torres has been blocked on my feed because he's been blowing up everything during the Jordan Hudson thing, and I was like, I don't want to see this on my timeline right now.
Yeah,
and I keep my thing to sports, only sports and funny stuff. Like people getting kicked in the nuts and stuff.
Yeah.
He was making 2 serious journals. I'm like, I don't want that on my phone. So I'll unblock him for a minute and see what happens. So.
Yeah, you can go to the story's on ESPN. I'll link to it, but it's unbelievable. All right, Trev.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your holiday. We'll talk next week.
We're going to start talking some Hurricane football next week.
Let's go.
All right, man. Trevor Harris with WQAM. Always a pleasure. Producer, host extraordinaire. We'll talk next week, buddy. All right, another quick break here, and then Mike Petralia will be joining the show as well here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
That way. Here's Chisholm. High fly ball, deep right field. Hines back. Track. Wall. See ya. A long home run. Jazz Chisholm, a two-run shot. And it's 3-0 Yanks.
Back here at the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. It is Thursday, June 26th. It's almost Friday, everybody. Mike Petralia from CLNSCincy.com going to join us in a couple of minutes. He's going to tell me all about, I can't wait. He's going to deny it, but it's going to happen. I have a feeling. The kid from Boca, from FAU, Trey Hendrickson, may end up being a New England Patriot. He may deny it, but it's out there. So it's not a rumor anymore. There's some disgruntling going on between him and management. We'll get to Mike's on it. But that was a cut last night from, obviously that was from the Yes Network, but the Yankees did beat Cincinnati by a score of 7-1. And I always love to hear from maybe my favorite manager of all time, Terry Francona. He tipped his hat to the Yankees last night, Max Pride, who did a great job. Here's Terry Francona while we wait for Mike to pop on here.
Oh boy, that's pretty good stuff. You know, he's got all 4 pitches, commands all of them. It's a really good pitcher. I mean, he can cut it with velocity. He's got a 4-seamer. He's got a slow breaking ball. You know, and you got an elite pitcher that is feeling really good about himself.
On your side, Singer, at one point you went out to the mound to check on an injury.
Yeah, he thought he had a blister on his toe, but when they came out, his toenail was kind of digging into at the end of his shoe.
Jesus.
I think they feel like they can alleviate that for his next start. I think it was just Posey noticed this. We just wanted to go out and check.
Your impressions of him overall?
You know, between the strikeouts and walks, it was a really high pitch count, and they're a lineup that's going to do that anyway. You know, he struck Chisholm out on a couple breaking balls his first at bat, and it looked like he sat on the second at bat and hit it a long way.
Fielding tonight, Tito, did you think maybe some of the miscues maybe extended him a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, even like if they don't add on that inning, there's a lot more work to do. You know, that I always feel that way. I mean, and Seth's had a ball where he didn't have a throwing lane, so he probably just got to eat it and get it out of first. Yeah, when we do that, it's never going to always show up in the scorebook, but it doesn't help the pitcher ever.
What happened on the relay points of miscommunication, or just didn't see that Rice was going back to tag out for a second?
No, and I mean that's a hard one to. I mean, I didn't see it. I was shocked as anybody, and I'm looking to watch the other runs because that's a run, and I'm wanting to see who's going to tag and where. I don't think anybody saw it.
All right, and that was Terry Francona yesterday. The Reds did win by a score. The Reds lost, I should say, by a score of 7-1. And Max Fried was outstanding last night for the Yankees. 10-2 on the year. He went 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits. Dela Cruz got 2 of them last night. Walked 1, struck out 7, and he's 8-1 with his ERA right now, after last night, was 1.92, but incredibly, he's 8-1 after with an 0.93 ERA and 10 starts after a Yankees loss, and he's gone at least 6 innings in all those starts and didn't allow an earned run for the 6th time. Absolutely unbelievable. I guess we're having some technical issues today. Angel's not here, so I'm not sure if Mike. We're working on maybe getting him a link, or he's trying to find the link, or if not. We will see. But anyway, thanks everybody for checking us out here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network here on the video platform and at the awesome SR1029 The Game app right there. So download that. It's been getting a ton of traction lately. It's been great. And on Twitter X, follow me at PShep326. On Facebook and YouTube, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, and you can text the show 727-858-6650. The Angel's not here today, so there's only some texts I can get, and you can't call in because I can't answer the phone because the phone is in Tampa. Rick says, service workers, we're talking about that in California, might get a minimum wage of $30 an hour. What should percentage be for tip? Well, look, I'm an over tipper, to be honest with you. It's at least 20%, and a lot of times a lot more, between 25 and 30%, depending on the situation that you're in. I take into account, down here in Florida, there's happy hours and all that kind of stuff all the time. So I take into consideration that and how well I know the servers, which, get to know a lot of them down here. But generally, I tip between 20 and 25%, sometimes more, depending on what happened. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the service workers in Florida are making $30 an hour. Now, in California, maybe they are, because after taxes, what does that come down to, $10 an hour? It's just, it's crazy. I mean, there used to be, back in the day, it was almost mandatory, right? That servers, waiters and waitresses, they made about $2 an hour. And I'm talking not $2, $2.50 an hour, because they always, you rely on tips. And that's, why a lot of great servers out there, you're working hard. So, because if you don't work hard, you're not going to get tips. I don't know what the deal is with what's going on here. But anyway, trying to get in touch with Mike Petralia from CLNS Cincinnati.com. Let me see what else can I play about there. What else can I play for you? Okay, so we've covered some stuff. The NBA draft, a kid from Maine, Cooper Flagg, number 1, comes from seems great family and really has his shit together. There's no question about it. I think the Dallas Mavericks got a great player with him, and hopefully he will not be contaminated by Kyrie Irving. Cooper Flagg, here's how it looks financially for him. His rookie deal for this year, or now through 2028, $62.7 million. That's it, $62.7 million. That's for his rookie contract. The 30% Supermax extension, hopefully he'll get this from 2029 to 2033, would total $359 million. And from 2034 to 2038, the 35% Supermax extension would be $509 million. That means it could total $930 million, and Flagg would be just 31 years old. Don't spend it all in one place, right? Don't spend it all in one place. Oh, my goodness. All right, we'll keep this going a little bit. I'm going to see. Otherwise, we'll end it here. And low meter's coming up at 9:05, but if we can't get this going today because of technical issues, we'll just postpone until tomorrow and recoup tomorrow. I don't do this very often, but I will do. I should probably do this every day, but it's just this kind of stuff gets old. But today in sports history, I like to do this from time to time. It is kind of funny. Go back to 1912. Boston Smokey Joe Wood outguns the Nationals ace Walter Johnson to win 3-0. Wood allows 3 hits in the Big Train for Johnson fan and the Big Train for Johnson fan 10 batters in the loss, by the way. 1920, Lou Gehrig gets his first national mention when, as high school junior for the New York City School of Commerce, he steals the show in a high school championship game against Lane Tech in Chicago. His grand slam home run in the 8th inning gives the New York team a 12-8 victory. Scouts sit with open mouths as the ball sails out of the National League Park, later known as Wrigley Field. How about that? Let's move ahead a little bit. Let's see. 1964, University of Wisconsin star Rick Reichart receives the highest bonus to date, $200,000, as he signs with the Angels. How about that? Back in the day. 1970, Frank Robinson belts 2 successive grand slams during a 12-2 rout over the Orioles. The Orioles romp over the Senators, I should say. Just the 7th major leaguer to ever accomplish that feat. How about that? 1977, on Jersey Day in Minnesota, every fan receives a jersey with the number 29 on it. Rod Carew's number. Carew responds by going 4 for 5, scored 4 runs, raised his average to 403, won and drives in 8 as the Twins beat the White Sox 19-12. All right. Well, Mike apparently doesn't have the. I'll tell you, what we're gonna do today. Well, yeah, what we're gonna do today is probably just this. We're gonna end it today, and when hopefully Angel will be back tomorrow, and then we can get things squared away. But I did want to tell everybody tomorrow. Great show lined up for you tomorrow. Again, we'll try to get Mike on tomorrow. We'll probably get Meter on tomorrow. I know that Rob Bradford is going to join me tomorrow. As well, and we will get his take on the Red Sox from WEEI.com. He will join me as well tomorrow, and we'll see if the Red Sox, who have the day off today, thank God, and then get back at it tomorrow. But all right, everybody, I am Pete. We'll have a huge show lined up for you tomorrow. Have a great and safe rest of your Thursday, everybody. Thanks to Trevor Harris for joining me. Again, we'll have Mike Petralion, John Meter-Perrell tomorrow, and Rob Bradford. So a full show tomorrow coming up here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. Have a great and safe rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you.